Shadowing. Confronting examples of workplace racism spark calls for action. Jacqueline's study still feels traumatized by the racism she experienced when she was an employee of New South Wales Health. Even if I'm qualified, I'm finding that I'm struggling to get into employment now. It's impacted my family. Yeah, it's been a massive impact. Jacqueline was working in an area that dealt with victims of domestic violence and abuse in indigenous communities. She logs internal complaints about the colleagues drinking and one painting their face black at a work event. I received a few phone calls from people who had to sit down and ask me directly if there was blackface, and they found me very offensive to be Upton Health New South Wales Facebook page. Before an investigation was launched, she raised the incidents with management. She had said to me, one, I think we're a cultural background that affecting you from seeing what people might have a drink at work. A spokesman for New South Wales Health said they take allegations of racism and bullying seriously and that the case was fully investigated and appropriate action was implemented for those involved. Diversity experts displays as race profiling against minority in workplaces is common. At the head of the Afghanistan crisis, women who are Muslim face, even though they didn't wear a hijab, were telling us that they had comments in the office about, what are cousins in Taliban gonna do next, and those sort of comments that really made them isolated. The cost of racism to the economy from mental health services and loss of income is estimated to be nearly $45 billion a year. A recent survey of public sector workers found 76% either witness discrimination and or experience discrimination. 69% had low or no confidence in the reporting process, and 15% expressed concern for their physical safety. One woman said that she was told that if it was really that bad, she should go to Victoria Police and report it there. So, from these women's accounts, it's almost like this sensibilizes did them to report, and this a lack of care what they're currently experiencing. Hella up the north, she's experiencing racism in several workplaces. In her previous role as a social worker, she was stunned when her manager asked a discussion why the level is running covers several matters. So I was quite shocked, disappointed, angered, but I that maintained I managed all of that and stayed calm and thought, well, this is an opportunity to provide an answer and have an open conversation and hopefully challenging this person's way of thinking. Experts are calling for government agency to start collecting detailed data on diversity in workplaces and the same way they do with gender. They also want the law governing racism to be reformed. The law itself is outdated, is ineffective. People can come to the law and its ability to offer you remedy and redress is limited. Jacqueline says she didn't feel safe to return to New South Wales Health. They want me to go back to work with no cultural safety plan, no acknowledgement of the racism or the blackface. She worries that if complaints aren't properly addressed, the social and economic cost to the national will soar. What more? Jacqueline's theory still feels traumatized by the racism she experienced when she was employee of New South Wales Health. Even if I'm qualified, I'm finding and I'm struggling to get into employment now. It impacts my family. Yeah, it's been a mass impact. Jacqueline was working in an area that deal with victims of domestic violence and abuse in indigenous communities. She lodged an internal complaints about colleagues drinking and one painting their face black at a work event. I've received a few phone calls from people who had seen that and asked me directly if that was um, blackface, and they found it very offensive to be Upton Health New South Wales Facebook page. Before an investigation was launched, she raises incidents with management. She had said to me, "One, I think it's your cultural background that's affecting you from singing what people might have a drink at work." A spokesman for New South Wales Health said they take allegations of racism and bullying seriously, and that the case was fully investigated and appropriate action was implemented for those involved. Diversity expert Steve Pillay says racial profiling against minorities in workplaces is common. At the height of the epidemic crisis, women who are of Western faith, even though they didn't wear a hijab, were telling us that they had the comments even in the office about, what their cousins in Taliban gonna do next. Those sort of comments that really made them isolated. The cost of racism to the economy from mental health services and loss of income is estimated to be nearly $45 billion a year. A recent survey of public sector workers found that 76% either witnessed discrimination or experienced discrimination. 69% had low or no confidence in the reporting process, and 15% to express concern for their physical safety. One woman cited that she was told that if it was really that bad, she should go to Victoria Police and report it there. So, from this women's accounts, it's almost like a disincentivizes them to report, and this lack of care are what they are currently experiencing. Hala Abdul Noor says she experiences racism in several workplaces. In her previous role as a social worker, she was stunned when her manager asked this question: why the level is destroyed and covered at Bromados. So I was quite shocked, disappointed, angered, but I not I managed all of that and stayed calm and thought, well, this is opportunity to provide an answer and have an open conversation and hopefully challenging this person's way of thinking. Experts are calling for a government agency to start collecting detailed data on diversity in workplaces in the same way they do with gender. They also want the law governing racism to be reformed. The law itself is outdated, is ineffective. People can come to law and its ability to offer you remedy and redress is limited. Jacqueline says it feels safe to return to New South Wales Health. They wanted to go back to work with no cultural safety plan, no acknowledgement of the racism or the blackface. She worries its complaints are properly addressed, the social and economic cost to the nation will soar.